Melanated family, how's everybody doing, man? This is your brother Harrison. Brand new episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. Happy to be back for a brand new week. Once again, I got my brother JB.
What's up, y'all?
Jared Bourne in the house with me. Like I said, this is my day one homeboy. Been one of my closest friends since 8th, 7th grade, something like that. And we've been rocking ever since. Like it's maybe 3 or 4 of us that have been rocking ever since. But thank you very much, family. This guy's phone's going off. Thank you very much, family, for tuning in to another episode of the show, man. Happy to be back for another week. Like I said, continue to rock with your boys. Subscribe to the Melanated Convo on YouTube. If you listen to the digital platforms, Overcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of these places you can find the show as well. So go there too if you haven't done so. If you like listening or if you like consuming your content via audio opposed to watching the video, go there and you can find the Melanated Convo podcast on all of those platforms as well. You feel me? So another thing we wanted to mention, make sure you support the movement, man. The Melanated Convo gear, right? We got the Melanated Convo podcast shirts, which comes in white and gray. We got the Melanated State of Mind shirt, which comes in black and orange. Like this one, it comes in white and orange. It comes in white and black. It comes in white and white and black. It comes in gray and black as well. So it comes in like 5 different colors. Do me a favor and support your boy, man. So you can follow me on Instagram, which is Melanated Convo 100. On the Instagram page, you can send me a DM, size, color. I can get you what you want. The email as well, which is melanatedconvopod@gmail.com, is where you can send the size you want of either one of these shirts, the color. We get it out to you within a few days. But we're finna get this thing started, man. Me and my brother JB got a few news stories we're gonna talk about. A couple deeper things too, you feel me? Like just as far as the Black family is concerned, as far as parenting is concerned. I like to call it parental awareness, like how aware we are when it comes to the details behind our parenting, how we speak around our kids, how we act around our kids, how we plan for the kid. You feel me? We're gonna talk about all that today. But again, I'm happy to have my brother JB on the show. How you doing today, JB?
It was great to be here with you, my brother. And thank you very much. And I really appreciate, my chance to kick it with my boy and talk about the melanated state of mind.
There we go. Definitely. So first thing we want to get into, recently, there was a disagreement between rapper T.I. and Lil Bootsy, or Bootsy rather. These are 2 brothers that I respect, that I've been listening to their music for a while. So as hip hop artists, I'm not going to front. I enjoy both of those brothers' music.
Right.
But they had an issue recently where T.I. and Bootsy was supposed to come out with an album together. Bootsy heard, he was on Vlad TV, and he heard that T.I. basically snitched on his dead cousin. Now, supposedly, T.I. was on his show Expeditiously maybe a year or 2 ago. On the show, he made a joke about an officer giving him the option to snitch on his dead cousin and say, hey, the gun or whatever we had in the car was for my cousin who's dead now.
So specific.
Supposedly, T.I. said this was a joke. Like, that's not something I did. I was just joking on the show. Supposedly, he presented paperwork to be able to show everybody what actually went on. You know what I mean? But to me, I wanted to bring up this topic because, for one, Bootsy heard this information on Vlad's platform.
Vlad.
That part bothers me a little bit.
Who is Vlad, y'all?
Just based on the fact that Vlad has been accused of being the feds and getting niggas locked up and all this shit.
Vlad is the dude that he's Jewish, right?
He is Jewish.
He got a black wife, right?
He a black woman, to my understanding.
Okay. He jumped into our culture and he interviews everybody and he makes his stuff, to use one of your words, real salacious. And he be gaslighting a lot of brothers around some stuff. And Bootsy didn't know about this.
Bootsy didn't know about it.
He was alerted by Vlad, who they had an album coming out, right?
Bootsy and T.I. had an album slated to come out. That was the reason why I think Vlad brought up T.I.'s name. And then he went into showing Bootsy the video and all this antagonistic shit where Vlad is quick to say, I'm not the feds. I'm not antagonizing any beefs. But anytime you bring young black men on your platform and you're insensitive to the shit they got going on. Now, Vlad will say, hey, I'm not going to ask about this murder. I'm not going to ask about this. But there's a journalistic, slick ass way to bring shit up to make sure somebody talks about it. You're giving them the option to talk about it, but you're putting it on the platform, but you're putting it on the plate for them to actually speak about it. So that's some fuck shit. So that's one. He's talking about this information on Vlad. And two, when it comes to snitching, we understand that culture. We understand at this point, I always talk about meritorious manumission, which in the 1800s, late 1700s, is when black folks, when they needed to get away from, when they wanted a seat in the big house, or when slaves wanted a fairer shot, or they wanted some type of material thing, they would tell on whoever was around. Now, what would a slave get at that time? They would get a butter biscuit. Literally, I'm not like joking. They would get a hot biscuit. They would get to sleep in the big house. They would get some type of favor for telling on another slave. And really, and that's why most slave revolts have been thwarted, because of meritorious manumission. They created a structure before we even got started in this country. They created a structure where if you tell on somebody that looked like you, we gonna give you benefits, right? So that's one thing. So going on Vlad platform is some fuck shit. I stopped listening to the guy, even though I've seen interviews that are quality, like it's documenting someone's life and it's informational, but at what cost if you don't really hold our culture in high regard? Because last thing I'll say about Vlad, Jared, somebody asked Vlad, well, what do you do for the black culture? What do you do specifically for black people? What is that? Vlad said, what I do for black people is I provide documentary style interviews that'll live on forever. Wow. I.e., I'm giving you niggas content.
So before something happens to you, so I want to document your time on this planet and get all my likes up so you can pass on through.
You see what I'm saying? So and
who knows what happens to you?
So I don't respect that when people who aren't black come into our culture, because I always think about it like this, family. I don't know any young, hip black men who say, you know what? I'm going to start a country music platform. I'm going to start a country music platform where I just interview country music stars. All these white men, it wouldn't fly. That niche community would not allow you to do that. But with us, we allow anybody in.
That's it. Now, what's up, Blue Girl? How you doing?
Yeah, Blue Girl is one of the subscribers of the show and somebody who always show up for your boy. How you doing, Blue Girl?
What's up, Blue Girl?
So we all know how snitch culture is in meritorious manumission, everything I'm mentioning, that's been going on for a long time. So, you know, my perspective on that is always get out of the street. There's always somebody telling in the street. That's the caveat. The realest nigga you ever know, let them be faced with 25 years. A lot of men aren't willing to go do that type of crime
that's for sure. But if somebody has a choice to snitch on somebody who's dead, and if you don't tell, you're going down, a lot of people is telling. But I don't understand the need for T.I. to share this information.
To look, Jared, from my understanding, from my understanding, bro,
if it's true,
he said it's a joke. Like I was just playing. He was laughing when he was saying that was the option that he had, right? But here's the thing about snitching. This is what I don't like what Boosie did, because Boosie got on Vlad's platform, heard the information, and reacted. That's what I saw, right? But in reality, if anybody is a snitch, this is public record. If my case is public record, there's a number you can look up as public record. Whatever happened in that case, it's available. See, it's available to see. Certain shit get concealed at times, but for the most part, it's available. And you, my friend, because I understand people are entertainers and they are in situations where they're in front of cameras and they're moving around the world. But if you, my homeboy, if I hear some information about you, I'm gonna call you.
So there's 3 words or 3 sayings mean the same thing: informant, snitch, and mandatory manumission.
All the same thing.
All the same thing.
All working with the government to put yourself in a better position.
Is the oldest one, and then been brought up to snitching.
There we go. And I was just watching the BMF documentary, right? Great documentary on Stars about Big Beach, BMF, their rise and historic fall. Like they did some amazing shit in a negative way, but the togetherness was amazing, right? The cops in that documentary said profusely, we wouldn't have got nothing done without a snitch. The snitch is our primary option when it comes to solving crimes. Because I always say this, cops don't really solve crimes like that. Like they're not going around. They're not going around preventing crimes.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
No,
they're not going around preventing said thing from happening. So
are sad.
So
the numbers are very crazy.
For those two brothers, because all online I was seeing where we're saying they had a beef and they confronting each other. That's propaganda. That's bullshit. I think these two brothers had a disagreement. But JB, it brings us to like the snitching culture and how we perceive that as our community. So me and you was talking earlier. So if you had the opportunity, right? If you're offered 25 years, the cops got you on some shit, you know you did, and they say I'm about to give you 25 years to life, or you can tell me the dope in the guns was for your cousin that's dead. Would you take the deal?
His dad has got all the charges. His dad's got all them charges. He told me to do it. Look.
See? So
look.
That's the question for everybody. Because I believe if me and my friend decide to do a crime together, we agree on doing a crime. One of us get caught, the other one tells on the other one. Remove streets for a minute. Fundamentally, that's just not integral. That's just a bad fucking friend, right? Like that's nobody should do that. If you
take the rap for a dead man, you're stupid.
But see, here's the thing. So that's if me and you agree to do a crime and I tell on you and it gets you jail time, that's snitching. Yeah, Is it snitching if I'm not alive and the culprit who has the snitch jacket won't get arrested because he's not here? Exactly. See, that's a caveat that needs to be considered. That's why I think it's important in that type of situation, you contact your homeboy, you get clarity, because I do understand like Bootsy's history just a little bit. That brother been through a lot of shit in the street. He been through a lot of shit where supposedly like people may have told on him or he may have felt deceived by things that go on.
You can definitely tell.
You can tell, right?
Triggered it.
So that creates a trigger in a person where you hear snitch and you just go off the deep end. But we need to be careful where you talking. See, that's always important to me. Like the kind of conversation I would have if I was on any platform being interviewed, who's interviewing me is important.
Very much so.
You see what I'm saying?
What's your plot? What's your plan?
Like how I'm giving it up is important. And Vlad, look, there's Vlad, there's Adam 22, there's other individuals who aren't black, but understand the billion-dollar industry that hip hop is.
And we let them right in to interview us and put them in our business instead of saying no. I'm gonna go stick with ours.
I'm gonna go to Drink Champs. I'm gonna go to Gilly and Wallow. I'm gonna go to somebody
Janelle Hill
or somebody like that.
You know what I mean?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I'll mess with what's my man? Godfrey. You know,
there's a lot of us in a space that like, produce this
Willie
type of content.
Willie D.
You see what I'm saying?
You know?
But Vlad, see, he has a big platform, and I do understand that. Like a motherfucker can't make you say nothing. No. You control your narrative. You control what you admit to and what you say. I do get that point of it, but people who just come into our culture, I'm just weary of you until I understand what your intentions are.
But I am curious though. Are you compensated heavily for going on Vlad?
I have no idea.
How that work?
I have no idea if you get paid to go on Vlad.
I would say people saying no to the bag no matter what somebody asks.
You know what I would think? I would think certain people may get paid. Like if he wants someone, this is just my trajectory. Like if he wants somebody big to come on and he has the money, he's like, yeah, fuck it. But I think a lot of the young dudes,
they want to get their name out there.
They know it's gonna be a million views.
Yeah.
They know a million people gonna see it.
There you go.
Like on certain, like the views, some of these YouTube channels, just so y'all know, some of these YouTube channels get more views than TV shows. Real talk shows on TV. 100%. You see what I'm saying? So it's YouTube, but the brother did build a platform, but he be on some bullshit. You know what I mean? So shout out to those two brothers. I'm sure T.I. and Boosie will get that shit together, but we can't jump to conclusions with people, especially when we got their phone number, especially when we can contact them personally. You know what I mean? Now, and I forgot to pull the video of Jared. Let me see if I can do it real quick while we're talking. But me and Jared found this video, right? I think we're just going to talk about it. Me and Jared found this video. I found it and shared it with my brother. It's a black man who he's realizing his 11-year-old son. So he has a baby with a woman, supposedly. Now his son is 11. He gets a DNA test for the 11-year-old boy and finds out the little boy is not his baby.
His son.
To make matters worse, he became inquisitive because he went through the girl's phone, and in the phone, family, she was bragging about the baby not being his.
Your text messages.
Bragging to her friends about he don't even know, whoop-de-whoop, right? And me and Jared's watching the video, and it's funny because the woman is like making hella excuses. Why you go through my phone? Why would you get a DNA test? Then JB, she told him.
She said, does it matter?
She said, does it matter?
Do you love him?
She said, you love him, don't you? See,
love him, don't you?
This brings up a bigger conversation to me. Like this level of deception, this happens a lot. We don't talk about this a lot in our community, family. We don't. But it's a lot of men walking around right now claiming a little boy or a little girl, taking care of them, being the provider, being the masculine figure in their life. And that's not their goddamn baby. And
they don't even know it. They don't even know it. And it's supremely sad and sickening about a mother doing it to a child. You know, it's bad enough.
It's wrong on so many levels.
It's wrong enough for the father to have to go through that mental anguish and heartache, but for that child not to know who their biological parent is because you was in the streets wilding out, you know, and then you don't want to be accountable for maybe your past. When people do find out and do the Ancestry.com, you try to still deny it. When the blood ties and the Ancestry.com or whatever form you used proves that the man you said was the father.
Yeah, this is not. See, this is just wrong on so many levels. And this is important to me, family, because as a man, I've been society and women have forced me to be be for what I've done as far as my ways of parenting, like how I've went about starting my family, how I went about supporting my family. Like my feet get held to the fire when I don't do things correctly. But something that we don't talk about a lot in the world, really, but in our community specifically, it's a lot of women running around here who, for whatever reason, don't have the courage to tell your kid the truth. Because like me and JB was saying, that shit is wrong on too many levels. Because really, you got a man raising a kid that's his. What if this kid is athletic? What if this kid is exhibiting traits that you as a man don't have? It could be attitude. It could be a look they make. It could be how they view certain shit. You see, it ain't with the mama either. This is, you're robbing a child of their true lineage. And for what? For pride? Because you're embarrassed? Like JB, we understand how society villainizes a woman who's loose, who a hoe, a Jezebel, right? The Bible, anywhere you go from the beginning of time.
Back in the day, that's definitely 100% true. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, they're OnlyFans. So, you know what I'm saying? You can flip it on his head and get paid.
Some women are bold enough to do that.
In the shadows, you're bold enough.
Yeah.
In the shadows. I'm not saying that's the way to go. I'm saying, to your point, I agree with you. Back in the past, very frowned upon to be out there in the streets, you know what I'm saying? And doing, you know what I'm saying, messing with him. But if you know who your baby daddy is, come on, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, a kid should be able to know that. You know what I'm saying? A man should know that that's his child.
The same way that a man running out on his child, a man knowing that the baby is his, but choosing to say fuck a baby. This is the same level of atrocity in our community.
Same deal.
See, because we got young men and young women running around.
I'm glad you brought the equivalent.
Yeah.
But that's the equivalent. It's us men saying, oh, that baby ain't mine. But you know, everything adds up.
Dysfunctional behavior. And then you look at a kid that has to go through life thinking a particular man is his father. Like, if a woman knows this, knows it's even a possibility, this is like treacherous behavior. This is behavior you can't come back from. In the video, the young man, my bad, family, I wasn't able to pull the video up in time, but this young man was very calm. Like, he basically told her, and this is something else we have to get to, because he was very calm about, this is the information I found out. I got a DNA test. This is what I now know. But here's the question for the family, for the men out there. If you find out your 11-year-old child, 10-year-old child, close to a teenager, you find out they're not your child, what do you do? Do you still participate in their life at the same throttle you were participating?
How cool is this kid?
That's the first question. Was the kid cool? Did I always sense a weird vibe about him?
Were they likable?
Hey, you hear something like that, but like I always knew he wasn't mine. You know what I mean?
No, man.
But see,
that's messed up.
If a kid's like 11, do you disengage completely? Do you say, hey, look, I'm no more support. I don't want to see him because this brother said, I found this out. Now get out of my house.
He said, y'all gotta go.
He said, y'all gotta go.
She said, where we gonna go? He said, I don't know. He said, how you gonna get to school? He said, I don't know. Look, it's so wrong on so many levels. And then you put, this man was obviously a good father. Like, I wish we had this video for the people. But y'all gotta look this up though. Y'all gotta check this video out, you know. And it's
here. Actually, I think I'm gonna find it while we talk because
we gotta show a portion of it.
Because it was interesting, like her responses. Because her responses was very nonchalant. She was like, so, like 11 years of me being lied to.
Here, y'all. It's just only him. There it is.
11 years of me being lied to, and your response is so? Like that's what you're gonna say about whether, you know what I mean?
Here we go.
So that's some fucked up shit. But here, so family, I'm gonna play this real quick, family, so everybody can hear. But this is a video of a man finding out that his 11-year-old son isn't his in the response from the baby mama. Let's look at it.
All right.
Oh, hold on.
Why you been lying to me?
What have they lying about?
I got a DNA test done.
A DNA saying what?
Saying that he's not my son.
Let me see this DNA test.
You don't need to see it. I saw it.
How DNA test gonna say?
How you gonna be lying to me for 11 years? Why would you do that to me?
Where's the lie?
The lie is you. You are the lie. You have been lying to me for 11 years, having me believe that my son that I've been raising for 11 years is not really my son. Like, how could you do that to me? Like, what can you say for yourself right now?
What made you get a DNA test?
Because I went through your phone.
And why?
Talking about me, laughing and bragging, telling your friends that I have no idea that he's really not my son. So I went and got a DNA test done. Like, you think I'm stupid or something? Like, how could you do this to me? About me going through your phone and you lying to me about my son not being mine? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? You care more about being humiliated and me finding out that our son is not really my son and that he has a different father. I sure have, because I thought he was my son. Because you've been lying to me this whole time.
What are you talking about? Does it matter?
It does matter. Are you crazy? What do you mean? That absolutely matters. Like, you don't see anything wrong with what you did? You don't see anything wrong with what you did? You've been lying to me. You've been sitting here lying to me for 11. Of course I love him, but I can't. But you guys can't stay. You can't stay here anymore.
Where we gonna go?
I don't know. It's not my problem. 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 You can't stay here. You can't stay here. You can't stay here. I don't know. It's not my problem. I did my job. I did my job. I did my job as a dad. More about me going through your phone than you lying.
All right, y'all.
So see, look. So real quick,
that's
a video of a young man basically saying, I found out this kid isn't mine. He's 11 years old. Now y'all got to get out. And me and JB was talking about, look. And so here, let's just, a couple things from the video. Her attitude was kind of weird.
Flip it, lucid, didn't care, nonchalant, very radish, very ratchet. If you ask me,
kind of weird. She said, does it matter?
Does it?
That's
matter.
Baffling for an adult.
Does it matter
to say that? Now I'm wondering,
how can you think it doesn't?
I'm wondering, do other women feel that way, JB? I'm wondering, because women, y'all can let me know. I'm wondering if a woman has an idea that the baby is not for the man you said it was. Are you thinking it don't matter if it's really his baby? I mean, he love him. I mean, the connection's real.
That's neither here nor there.
because this woman said it don't matter if it's really good. Don't you love them?
The love is real.
The love,
now go to work, get our check.
So I'm thinking about like this level of rationality. Like she's rationing out why something like this is cool, but on some real shit, y'all, I'm happy I was able to pull the video for everybody. That type of shit can ruin our community and the true legacy of a child. Because again, the attributes we have as humans a lot of times is based on our lineage, our height, how we speak, how we think about things, certain personality traits. Right. These things can be linked to your parent.
Directly.
So,
not to mention that the diseases.
You go, look, unfortunately, you got a kidney issue, and you go to your daddy and say, Daddy, I need one of your kidneys because you're my daddy. Or I need an organ that is fit because we can.
Yeah.
I've seen that before too, JB.
But you wonder why it never will match. Nothing will match. Nothing seems to be right with me and my dad. I don't get it.
I've seen that before, JB. I've seen that before, JB, where it was time to get an organ. Maybe it was a TV show or something, where it was time to get an organ from a parent or a child, and that's when you find out that it's not yours or y'all not related.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So again, men get a bad rap for a lot of the shit we do in society, and everybody should be held accountable. I'm aware of that, but this is something we don't talk about enough. And men, here's another thing I want to mention about this, JB. Young men, if you having a baby with a woman that you're not in a relationship with, some men can do this anyway. Like having a blood test, get a DNA test. I say, shit, if a man say he want to do it regardless of the relationship with the woman, that's his right. You see what I'm saying? But if you young, if the relationship ain't stable, if you ain't been with him for a long time, it could be a lot of red flags that make you say, look, I'm going to just make sure, because I also seen another story a while back, JB, where a dude was paying child support for years, and he finally found out the baby wasn't his, and I think he still had to pay, or he still owed the back pay.
A lot more.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, it happens a lot more.
You see?
I know a guy who the same thing happened to. He was on child support. The baby wasn't his, and he still had to pay about 2 years of child support after he found out.
You see?
After he found out the baby wasn't his.
You see?
She's getting money from lying to this man, and she isn't that fraud?
Isn't that fraud? And I've heard of people who, or women, because I'm not bashing women, but as men, we need to be accountable for the shit we do and our leadership ability and how we conduct ourselves in our family. This is all true.
Right.
But both of us be on some bullshit sometimes. Because I've even heard of women who are older, like 50 or 60, and you got a 39-year-old that want to know the who's my daddy, who's my mama, if it's a man, you know what I mean?
And you still holding the information.
And you still holding the information. And you still holding the information. You still don't want to come to terms with, maybe you was a little loose for like 6 weeks.
Like Emmett Till, like Emmett Till's executor, the lady that said he whistled on her deathbed, she said, it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
I remember what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See? That you gonna wait that long?
You mean just having something nefarious that happened?
Maybe a bad example, but see where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I see where you're
coming from. Don't wait that long
to
give up the information that people may need.
Oh, my bad. No, bad. No, I'm gonna take it off. So that's important. We just played a video of a young man who found out his 11-year-old son wasn't his. That need to be talked about. Mm-hmm. That's not talked about enough in our society.
Let's not do it to each other.
Women do that a lot, and it's not just because I know sometimes a woman, like we said, how society views women. You a Jezebel, you a hoe. Like finding out you've been fast or a little, you know what I mean? You had a little stretch where you was out there. That's embarrassing for women, like from a societal point of view. You know what I mean? But there's more damage being done when a young man doesn't know who his true parent, because really, a lot of times, if you can look at your father and see where you get shit from. You can look at members of your family and see where you get shit from. This is the truth that we need to realize. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm happy I seen that video because it happens way too much in our community. Last thing I mentioned about that. And JB, me and JB was talking about this for all the men out there. What's the age that you would just walk away? Like, If you find out your 11-year-old is not yours,
as a person who loves children and the energy that you have with the kids, and I think that as a man, most guys, depending on what they've been through in life, because if you know what I'm saying, earlier on your attachment to a little one may be stronger based on what you've been through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I think that between 3 and 5, it's gonna be a lot easier to separate yourself from. After you're going to school and kindergarten and all this life you share. But then I can see a man, shit, it could be 2 years, and he'd be like, I always wanted a kid, and you lie.
Right. 6 months,
you
even.
lie,
like
even.
a brand new
And
baby.
I don't
if
care.
You say, yeah.
I really don't care. At that point, I can see a lot of guys say, I don't care.
Yeah.
This is my child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. But that's a question for men because, Jared, I wouldn't feel a way about a man knowing his 9-year-old, 7, 8, this range, whatever the early age is, find out this isn't my kid, and now I don't want to be financially responsible for him. I pick him up when I want to. I mean, I'll try to participate in semi the same way.
So I went from daddy to mentor. And it's your fault.
I went from daddy to mentor.
Your fault.
You see? So that's something important that I thought that we should talk about just in our community. Like, women, be honest with the men around you. If you had a little fast stage, you was out there giving that thing up, shit. Let it be known so this boy can know who his real daddy is.
Daddy, if you out there doing that, claim your kids, be a real man, or cover it up.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Deal with it how it is, because the next thing we're gonna get into is about parenting and parental awareness, right?
Here we go.
And this lends itself to what we're talking about, because if the conception of the child was done irresponsibly, that's a red flag.
What's irresponsible?
To me, what's irresponsible is not having the financial means, not having the mental fortitude, and this is just my personal opinion. No teenager in America is fit to be a parent. You can figure it out.
So you broke, you're kind of stupid, and you're too young.
You're all signs of not being an adult.
Just wait.
All signs of not being an adult yet. So your irresponsible ways and the things you haven't figured out yet, that you're gonna put that right into your child. Some people think, and this is a misnomer in my opinion, having a child makes you responsible, turns you into the sharpest, most responsible motherfucker there.
And also think about the level of love. When people don't have love in their life, they think that having a child can make them feel the love.
Come on now.
They can feel the child.
Come on now.
Please don't. Let's think about that for a second.
Many people, and I've seen this with young women, maybe not so much as a man, because I just haven't, just my personal experience, but I've seen it with women where, I wasn't getting love from my father. I wasn't getting love from my mother. I wasn't being seen. Nobody was paying me attention. Now I got this small thing that only pays attention to me. This small thing that loves me for me, right? And I think that's a glamorization of parenting or parenthood, because you're looking at a little baby who smell good, shit be kind of cheap. It's a different experience. Well, that baby is going to need a college fund one day. That baby is going to walk out into the world and be amongst all of us one day. You see? So parental awareness to me is being aware of all of this from the inception, but also something that I want to get to is the conducting of things in the home. Like, if you're a person who isn't self-realized, meaning you don't know who you are yet,
right.
You haven't figured it out yet, you haven't dealt with your past traumas yet, right? Bringing that type of mentality into parenthood creates a lot of dysfunction. And just a caveat, parenting is hard for any individual. I don't care if you're a CEO having your first kid, if you're broke having your first kid, if you got if the family's beautiful and you're having your first kid. There's no handbook for this shit.
No.
So there's gonna be hiccups. There's gonna be mistakes.
Trial and error.
The only thing that can soften that is understanding, knowing who you are, patience, finances, togetherness with the parents.
Planning.
All signs of planning. You see what I'm saying? Because all too often, especially in the Black community, someone to touch on.
We have a baby, let something happen.
let stuff happen without planning, and then we get in a home with the child and we do as I say, not as I do bullshit. Which this needs to be like erased from our culture. Because growing up, I was told that.
Yeah.
A lot of people around me was told that.
Yeah, but you know what? My parents, they kind of led by example, a little more laid back in that way. I had a lot of aunts and uncles that tell their kids that would ever smoke or drink or cuss and say, "Don't you do that?" And it's like kids are going to copy you. My little baby girl, the other day I was coughing. She started copying me coughing the way I was coughing.
Yes, happens instantaneously.
Start faking the cough like I was coughing.
Yep.
I wasn't faking, but you're faking to copy me. I'm like, you copy my coughs.
There we go.
Gee.
She's gonna copy your voice inflection. She's gonna copy your sayings.
Wow.
She's gonna copy, dig this. She gonna copy your energy. This is what people fail to realize. Let's say, I don't know, generally, you're a negative person. Let's say in your personal space, because a home is like your small country. See, we get right down to it in our houses. We don't hold nothing back. We say exactly how we feel, right? So if your kid's listening, you may think they're watching TV, but they're listening. What if you're always talking shit about people? What if when issues come up, you're always negative? What if when situations come up, you always got something bad to say? What do you think your kid is going to take from that when they have to go out into the world? See? So I know people, and I've been here. Like I was a young parent, I get it, who say, I love my kid, I love my kid, I love my kid. But I never heard you say, I love myself.
Right. The level of dependency, the level of dependency created, and most of the children of today, I would say, not all, most of them.
What do you mean by level of dependency?
The dependency and entitlement. There's a level of these DoorDash kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Remember, there used to be latchkey back in the day.
Yeah.
Now I call them DoorDash kids. They don't want to get up or do nothing. They just want something to come to their doorstep. They want somebody to do it for them.
They want it easy.
They feel special because they're handsome or pretty. You know, and that's good enough in their mind to be a socialite on Instagram if they have, 100 followers. That does not put food on the table or money in your banks.
It's a different mentality, yeah.
See what I'm saying?
It's
a different mentality where it was like, hey, go put some applications in. Who's coming up? Get a job so you can come bring a check so you can buy that jacket you've been staring at that window. Yeah,
I think that's a part of the parent, like knowing how to shift. Again, parental awareness. Being aware of the climate of today, because sometimes I find myself sounding old, like when I was younger back in the day, but it's real shit though. Like things have changed. Now I kind of get what some of our parents was talking about when they would be like, your music, your clothes, how y'all talking.
That's all. That's true. I'm saying the crazy thing about from 1980 when I came around the scene, and then to 2023 right now, the level of skinny jeans, the tightness of the pants, right? Everybody wearing Crocs and house shoes out in public, with the more bedazzledness on it.
It's different. Yeah.
The internet world of how they get money online now, like
everything's different.
Wow,
everything's different, and I think shit will shift because some of the androgynous outfits I see young men in, meaning you don't know if it's a man or a woman when you look at the body based on the outfit.
What they say, the fluid outfits? they call it fluid. There's a fluid outfit.
Yeah,
real zesty.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know by looking at a person, but like in the 70s, if you look at a picture of somebody from the 70s, 60s, maybe some of them outfits may have been considered questionable.
Yes, agree.
You see what I'm saying?
Agreed.
So things change. The more things change, the more they say the same. But we live in a different era where we're mixing skinny jeans with the commercialization of LGBTQCPT, whatever, you know what I mean, with all their mothers is. But the alphabet. But it's commercialized now because it's by agenda or by natural. I'm not sure the movement, but we're seeing it everywhere. Yeah. Every TV show,
And there's no problem over here with anybody in their community.
I don't have any problem with someone gay, but sometimes
but y'all get a lot of respect in
these streets. You know what I mean? So I think there is a small agenda behind the pushing the movement, and then the response from people in that community sometimes it's like, well, no, they're forcing things on you. Like if a person says, hey, I'm heterosexual, I don't go that way, I don't want to do that. If you say you don't do that, you shouldn't be villainized for that. That's just not your choice. You know what I mean? Just like if somebody say I'm gay or I'm lesbian or I'm queer, all this shit, like people make jokes about it, but do you? That shit ain't got nothing to do with me. It don't got nothing to do with me personally, but don't put that on me. And if you black and you happen to be LGBTQ, all the other letters, know that you black first. Know that that's a secondary thing. You know what I mean? That's kind of a sidebar, but that's important to talk about because to me, like parental awareness is just about being aware of how you are affecting your child, be it positive or negatively. And if you're someone who hasn't done the work personally, like if you were abused as a child, if you come from an environment where it wasn't parents or crack was being sold or you were getting abused physically, sexually, any of these things, none of this is okay. Like none of this is normal behavior. And sometimes, and I'm speaking specifically for my people, we just move on. Like we know cousin Rodney was playing with the kids, but what we do, we make excuses for him. We say, oh, he was a little crazy. He was a little something. We sweeping everything under the rug as far as like the dysfunctions that we display and not really talking about them. And then making them normal, because when you don't talk about them, what happens when you have kids? Yeah. What happens when you're around kids? You know what I mean?
Hurt people definitely hurt people. And I think that there's a lot of stigmas in our culture that people don't look at or try to act like they even happen. There's a lot of that. I think my family is a little different with shedding light on things.
Like talking about the things.
Yeah, talking about those things.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah. There's strong women in my family that will confront things like that in a fearless nature,
which is important.
So that kind of was imparted in me too, as far as how that operation right there.
That makes sense.
There was a this is totally off the subject, but we're talking about this right now, y'all. It's a Dalai Lama type of situation, like Tibetan type monk type person. It's online right now.
I seen that when he asked the kid to suck his tongue or some crazy shit like that.
Please talk about it.
The Dalai Lama was at some type of event, and I know about this gentleman, but I'm not gonna act like I know a whole bunch about him. But I've heard some of his rhetoric and how he feels about certain things here and there. But basically, it's some type of tradition where he asked the young man, he kissed the young man and asked the young man to suck his tongue or something like that. That's weird shit to me. Like just looking at any man that would do that, I don't care what the tradition is based on.
I don't care.
If you do that in public, and what you would do in private is kind of like,
this is a 9-year-old child we're talking about.
It was a 9-year-old child, so young his face was blurred out. He was so young.
So I'm so confused of why this man can engage in to catch a predator activity online because he has some type of mantra in front of his name. How is it okay for him to act this way? It made my stomach turn. Yeah. And I was wondering about their parents, but then I realized in this situation right here, a lot of kids are purchased from these poor countries, and they're treated with disdain or any amount. They're owned. They're slaves.
That could have been been the case, and I didn't look heavily into that situation to know why the kid was there,
and he was so willing. The little boy was so willing, and so
I just know the visual.
Then they cut it. Then they cut the video, and he started to do what he asked him. Yeah, and I'm mortified even thinking about it. Yeah, and thinking about all these other young men in this situation that have to deal with this type of behavior, and with somebody who's supposed to be revered and appreciated, but. We know what absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah, and he said some shit that I don't agree with it. So, but I don't know much about him, but that was weird. And
wait, that's weird.
And we need to know that like pedophilia, I'm gonna be honest, man. My opinion, that's not some African shit, man. Like a lot of these people from other countries, a lot of Europeans. It's not some African shit, man. How they get down with believing in it and participating in it and making it.
Greeks at a certain point, they sent the boys to go live with the men.
Yeah. See, this is all.
Do your research.
This is history. This ain't no African shit. So that was absolutely weird. That was a good point, JB, because that was something I was looking at too.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Melanated Convo Podcast, man. We want to make sure we come put in that work for the week. And again, parents, Black parents, we need to take the parental process much more serious than we do now. Not all of us. I mean, not speaking in absolutes, but too many of us, because when we talk about racism, when we talk about how we're disenfranchised by this community or by this country, it's true and it happens. But sometimes we lend ourselves to the system, like by creating a certain level of dysfunction. Yeah. Now it makes it easier for our enemy to infiltrate
and to divide and conquer.
It makes it easy when you're weak.
Yeah.
It makes it easy when you're discombobulated, when you don't know what's going on. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, I know how crack did us in the 80s. I know how the disenfranchisement in the 60s and the 70s took the fathers out of the home. There's a historical piece that created where we are today. But it's up to you to learn this shit based on your family, based on the history of our country, and then start to unpack it while dealing with your own shit.
It's a lot of generational stupidity that's been ingrained in Black people.
Yes.
There's a lot of it. And we really got to rid ourselves of this because we have been so dumbed down, and the vibration that's pushed at us is very, very low. It's matter of fact,
we're under attack.
It's in a sewer. It's so low. Okay?
Yes.
So we got to be careful about what we drink, eat, what we digest with our ears, and how we treat each other. Especially how we treat our kids. How we treat our kids, because they're the future. And one day, if you do your job right, they might take care of you.
Yeah.
If not, they might push your wheelchair down some stairs. See what I'm saying?
That's real shit. I mean, charity, before you can go out and be charitous to people and give to people, charity starts at home. That starts at home. So yeah, when we go outside, we're bombarded with so much shit that's not good for us, based on the food, based on the climate, based on the economics, based on the commercial, like based on corporate America. We're attacked, right? Don't make it worse.
Don't do it. And then home is practice, y'all.
Home is practice.
Game time is outside the house and in public. Mm-hmm. Home, get your practice on. Nobody watches practice. Nobody cares about practice. Well, all we care about is when you get on the bright lights.
Is the game. And that's funny you say that, JB, because I always tell people, if your kid runs around in the house, meaning if you're in the house with your, pick the age, 2 to 19, I don't care what the age is, and you can't control them in the house. You can't tell them to sit down. You can't calm them down. You can't conduct and motivate them to do things in home. Once y'all get inside of the store, good luck.
That's when you get a leash.
That's when you put the kid on a leash.
The little monkey leash, that little monkey backpack leash.
The little monkey backpack leash.
I can't stand that. Just tell them to stand next to your leg. My parents would never have a leash. There was 4 of us. Yeah. We were a year apart.
Keep it real. That don't be
no leash.
Get over it. It's rare that I've seen that in our community. I've seen that in other communities where they want to put a leash on the kid.
I haven't seen that one of us.
You know what I mean? So leash. that ain't no Black shit. But I've seen Black people allow their little kid to run around the store with no shoes on, hair nappy as hell.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that.
Pamper with a shirt on.
A pamper with a shirt on, Pampers thinking. I'm thinking, okay, this kid has no shot. If the adult around allows this to take place, what is his future like? So yeah, I don't like us killing each other.
She has on the house shoes.
She has on house shoes and a bonnet.
Her hair is out of the bonnet or her edges are whooped. She don't care. She looks sleepy. She got boogers in her eyes.
Yes, you know what I mean.
It's 3 in the afternoon. You know.
See, so sometimes you can look at the pedigree and be like, damn, unless something changes, this is going to be a cycle repeating itself. Because when I see the young mom who don't have money or resources, no man around, don't have no decorum, don't know how to get their kid up in the morning, sometimes you just got to follow the goddamn trail. Who was they mama? Then who was they mama? So this is generational curses and Black folks not having the parental awareness to say, my past has been fucked up. I was molested. Nobody was there for me. I didn't have parents. I didn't have money. Pick your childhood ailment. But then you got to say, okay, what am I going to do about that shit? First, I did the first thing by recognizing.
And then another thing too, it's very important for us to realize how insidious us always being separated is. There's always a single parent homes in our community, way more than any other community. Now, how is that? Mainly us, not only us, mainly us.
That is
always hear about that with our community. People of melanated, the dark descents. You know what? And I would say African Americans, to be specific.
Yeah.
The level of breakups, not even getting married, period, but just having the kid and separating, and then having all these combined families.
All these combined family. So how in the 50s and the 40s, there was a time in this country where Black families were together, where the majority of the Black families got married or partnered up to raise kids,
multiple kids
in a home with two people. So we have to ask ourselves, what happened? Was the father removed from the home? Or are we just some shiftless motherfuckers who bounced? You see what I'm saying?
It was definitely engineered.
I think it was, once you engineer something, because people don't realize this, most people, in my opinion, do not have the wherewithal to remove themselves from their environment, to be engulfed in an environment and not do what you see in the environment. That's a rare entity who says, nah, I see all this dysfunction and bullshit, I'ma depart from it. Most people gonna follow what they see.
Well, it's very, very, you can't be like, you can't not see what's around right in front of you. What's right in front of you is what you live in every day. That type of energy you have around that circumference you live in, 20 blocks, 30 blocks, wherever it is, and that can just be your world right there. You don't look outside of that world. There's no imagination. There's no reaching past those barriers, and that's that's almost like a project. That's the ghetto. That's apartment complexes that just like projects. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's built to keep you. You have certain stores close to you. You're not meant to go very further outside of that. The stores that you go to, none of them are Black or stores that represent you. They're only stores that are getting rich off your community. This is engineered to be the American way.
This is the truth. This is the truth. So again, thank y'all for tuning in. Me and my brother JB can go on about this shit all day, man. But be an active parent. Be aware of the trauma and the things you've been through and what you've had to go through. And again, this ain't all Black folks. All Black folks don't come from the ghetto. We don't all come from disempowered ass environments. But most people are dealing with some kind of dysfunction or some type of trauma that hasn't been healed. And that's just gonna keep showing itself.
We're talking about those of us that have been.
You know what I mean? So let's try our best to do better with that, man. It's your brother Harrison, Melanated Convo Podcast, JB. Tell everybody where they can find you. What's your Instagram page, please?
My Instagram page is Born to Grub at IG, Jared Born on Facebook. You know, and y'all can holler at me. You know, got some stuff going on as far as some food events coming up. Things of that nature. And you know, here we are for you.
All right, man. Thank you all for tuning in for another episode of the Melanated Convo Podcast. Do me a favor and get the shirts. Hit me on the email in my Instagram page, Melanated State of Mind shirts, Melanated Convo Podcast shirts. Support the platform, man. Support is more than just clicking and liking.
Design.
Oh, Precision Design Studio. Precision Design Studio. If you know somebody who need a whole bunch of shirts, like you got an event coming up, you got a business coming up, or you got a business, you got a hobby, you need shirts printed.
What's it called? Precision Design Studio.
You got something coming up, holla at your boy. I can do any number of shirts you need. If you need me to make the logo, I can do that. Logo on the front of the shirt, back of the shirt, DTF transfers. It's quality work, family. So if you need somebody who you know somebody who needs shirts for an event, a party,
company,
funeral, anything, holla at your boy. Hit me on Instagram. I can go over my prices with you. And I'm posting things about the price list and how everything works. But holla at your boy, man, so we can do some work together.
Come on.
Great, because I made these shirts myself. You know what I mean? So this is your boy Harrison, Melanated Convo Podcast. My day one homeboy JB.